So
if I may come in here, we're really trying to manage our time, Dr. Fatile. Please hear me here. What does this foreign policy, Nigeria's foreign policy direction, what does it have to say about Nigerian citizens and their protection beyond our shores?
Yes, thank you that you are coming to the specifics now. And when you talk about Nigerian citizens, one of the areas which we take very seriously in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And even as we speak, missions abroad are working hard to ensure that the plights and the interests of our citizens are taken very seriously. Like I was watching your rider before we started the program, the issue of Libya, you've seen very well that the Minister of Foreign Affairs handled it very well.
All right, I'm going to have to
this year.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut in there and just come to our studio here in Lagos. We take your point that you say the ministry is doing particularly well. But let me just come to you, Dr. Thomas. And looking at 2017 alone, we have 55,800 people who applied for political asylum. We've seen the story of Libya and the xenophobia in South Africa. If we're doing so well, as the spokesperson is saying, why is everybody trying to leave in spite of the stories that we hear and you know, the tales when people come home?
Well, for individuals to leave the shores of the country, you know, just to go in search of greener pastures and everything, I don't think that has to do, I mean, in this kind of situation now, because I do not see the kind of war scenario that would have necessitated anybody moving away from here. If you are talking of what happened in 1993, you know, during the June 12 crisis, a lot of people went out. But I don't think that since 2015, this kind of scenario has happened. So I want to believe that individuals who decide to go out of the shores of the country, to go and after greener pastures, to go and better their lives and everything, those are the individual inclinations. They are personal to them. And it may be as a result of the fact that some of them could not measure up to the social standard, or they could not even be able to cope with the social situation in the country, not necessarily created by government, but even some personal, you know, private level, family problems and all sorts. You understand? So it's not all the 55,000 that went out that are being pushed to go and seek asylum. I mean, it's not all of them that went out that happened as a result of what government has created.
Okay, quickly.
Yes, there are social indices which may create problems, but I know that the situation is not that bad for people to start spending 700,000 naira and then closing shops or selling shops or even selling their houses to go to Spain, to go to, you know, because they should know that whatever situation exists here, you understand, it's not a bed of roses over there too, because there may be other situations which will create problems, social problems for them when they get there.
I know my colleague has a question for you, but can we just quickly address this issue of processing returnees? Everybody looks at the migrants that leave and what happens to them, but there is that worry that those who are actually coming back may not all be Nigerians, and they're all taken in. You know, can you address that challenge for us about processing people who return? Are they really of us? And, you know,
I think the question should be directed to the spokesperson for the foreign affairs, because number one, there must be some variables, or there must be some parameters which they will use to screen, you understand, to screen those migrants. I mean, so that at least they will be sure that it's not everybody that is returning that is a Nigerian, because some of them may not be Nigerians, but they are desperate to leave, and then they may just mingle with Nigerians, and at the end of the day find themselves on Nigeria shores, and then create problem for us, our national security again.
From what you've seen, and the spokesperson for the ministry have spoken, what do you think? Do you think that the ministry is indeed taking up its responsibility of protecting Nigerians that are outside the shores of this country?
It depends.
In line with the foreign policy of the country?
Yeah, it depends. The government is officially responsible for whatever happens to any Nigerian that travels officially. Officially, you went through the visa process, you are documented. Undocumented migrants or documented Nigerians that went through whatever corner side strategy. You know, if you left the country without proper documentation, it is not the responsibility of the government to start searching for you. But when it happens like this, when there are so many Nigerians converging, now it becomes a problem for the government, because at that stage, the government cannot be saying, look, I don't know how you left. You understand? But if it is a case of individual, one particular person, you know, going out, you know, without proper documentation, it's not the responsibility of the government. So anybody who wants the government to take charge of his welfare outside Nigeria, and then to also be concerned about his situation outside Nigeria, should go through the proper documentation. And I think we have already seen this kind of situation before, when a Nigerian who went through the process of visa and everything was manhandled abroad, and then the government took it up.
Okay, Dr. Fatsile, just a quick one. When you talked about the foreign missions, the question of funding comes to play. How well funded are our foreign missions?
Thank you very much. Even though I'm having some really following up and hearing you very well. But I think you are talking about some issues. Let me just respond to the ones I heard Dr. Thomas saying, and I want to appreciate him for talking about documentation, which is very important. And when we talk about documentation, if you fail to document yourself properly before leaving the shores of Nigeria, it's also important when you arrive at your destination, either through whatever means, to inform the mission.
Okay, Dr. Fatsile, I would have to stop you and ask you again. How well funded are our foreign missions?
Sorry, I can't.
Funding. How well funded are our foreign missions? The issue of funding, money.
Okay, okay, funding of the foreign missions.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Well, what I would say about that at the moment is clearly that the ministry is working in the current. Let me talk about what is happening at the moment, not necessarily what has happened in the past.
Dr. Fatsile, I'm sorry, we would have to. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that, but we would have to go. We are completely out of time. We really want to thank you so much, Dr. Tokpe Elias Fatsile, spokesperson, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for joining us on the program today. We do apologize that we couldn't take much of your comment. And Dr. Dakpo Thomas, Foreign Affairs Analyst and Lecturer at the Department of History and International Studies, Lagos State University. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Well.
And we will say what?
Well, we're going to say that we ended the year on a particularly high note. It was a good one for us at Channels Television. We added another feather to our cap, didn't we, NT?
Yes, it did.
By winning for the
12th time.
He said third time for the 12th time.
I was going to say 13. I was jumping the gun already.
Yes, well, yes. We do look forward to winning for the 13th time. But yes, it was a fantastic time for us. And it's not something we take for granted here at Channels Television. As we like to say here, the reward for excellence is more hard work. Yeah?
Indeed.
Yeah.
And we will not let that ball drop. We'll continue to play it and play it high.
Yes. 2017 in retrospect, NT, it's been a fantastic year. Indeed,
it's been a fantastic year. But I must also mention that Nigeria qualified for the 2018 World Cup.
Indeed, and we do look forward to winning. We celebrated as though we had already won.
Let's hope we go there and do a good job of it. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a part of your evening. We do hope you have a fantastic 2018.
Yeah, have a fantastic new year. I'm Ijoma Hunyato.
And I'm Neota Igbe.
Good night.